Good morning, students. From today, we'll be studying the next chapter, which is the cell. Today, we will be studying the introduction of the cell. So, what are cells? A cell is a structural and functional unit of all living organisms. All living things are made up of cells. Cells are microscopic and they can replicate by itself independently. The cells comprise several cell organelles that perform specialized functions to carry out the life processes. Every organelle has a specific structure and function for itself. The study of cells from its basic structure to the functions of every cell organelle is called as cell biology. Now we shall study the history of cells. The word cell was first coined by Robert Hooke. Anton van Leeuwenhoek studied the structure of bacteria, protozoa, red blood cells under a simple microscope. And Schleiden proposed that all plants are made up of the plant cells, and Schwann studied that all animals were composed of cells. And it was Robert Brown who discovered the presence of nucleus in the cells of orchid roots. So this is how the cells were discovered. Now we shall study the cell theory. In 1839, Schleiden and Schwann have jointly proposed the cell theory. The important aspects of the cell theory are all living organisms are made up of minute units which are called the cells. The cells are the basic units of all living things. Each cell is made up of protoplasm which is bounded by the plasma membrane, which may or may not have a cell wall. The new cells are formed when the pre-existing cells divide. But there are some exceptions to the cell theory, which includes that the viruses are an exception to cell theory. They lack the protoplasm and other essential organelles of a cell. And the next is the bacteria lacks a well-organized nucleus. The next exception is that the cenocytic hyphae, as you can see in this picture of some of the fungi, have a mass of protoplasm in which many nuclei remain scattered. And the next exception is that in red blood corpuscles and sieve tubes, as you can see in this picture, the sieve tubes, the cells of them does not contain any nuclei. A cell may grow, secrete, divide or die, while its adjacent cell may lie in a different physiological state. Thus, there were several subsequent findings which were made about the cell, which led to the modification in the cell theory. This modified cell theory led to the cell doctrine. So, according to the cell doctrine, all organisms are made up of cells. The cells contain the hereditary information which is passed from one cell to another during the cell division, and the structure and function of the cells are controlled by the DNA. Sometimes the dead cells may remain functional, as in tracheids and vessels, as you can see in this picture. So tracheids and vessels are functional in plants, and horny cells are the dead cells which remain functional in the animals, as you can see in this picture. So, what are microscopes? Cells are too small to be seen with the naked eye. The complete architecture of the cell can be obtained only by using a microscope. The microscope has two or more lenses that will magnify the objects which are placed under the observation. The specimen that has to be examined is placed on a slide with a drop of fluid, and to which coloring agents may be used. The specimen is covered with a cover slip to avoid the evaporation of the fluid material, or this will also prevent the drying out of the sample. Now the sample is ready for the study. There are different types of microscopes which are used, and one amongst it is the light microscope. The light microscope is a compound microscope which contains several lenses which magnifies the image of the specimen which is kept under the study. So this is the image of a light microscope. The total magnification of the object is the product of magnification of the individual lenses which are placed in the microscope. The specimen for the light microscope are usually fixed with a solution containing alcohol, formaldehyde. Then the sample is embedded in paraffin wax and thin sections of the specimen is made out. The sections are stained using appropriate stains and then they are placed on these slides as you can see in this picture. So by this, the specimen is ready for the observation for a light microscope. The next type of microscopes are the electron microscope. The fundamental principle of the electron microscopy is similar to that of a light microscopy. But the major difference is that in electron microscope, electromagnetic lenses are used instead of optical lenses as those which is used in a light microscope. And also, a high velocity of electron beam is used instead of a visible light. The resolutions of the electron microscopy is higher than what can be obtained with the light microscope. Now, we shall study the functions of the cell. A cell performs major functions that are essential for the growth and development of an organism. So, the first function is that it provides support and structure. The cell wall and the cell membrane are the main components that function to provide support and structure to the organism. For example, xylem, which is present in vascular plants, provides structural support to the plants. Next function of a cell is that it facilitates growth. In the process of mitosis, the parent cell divides into two daughter cells. Thus, the cells multiply and facilitate in the growth of the organism. The next function is that it aids in reproduction. The cell aids in reproduction through the process called mitosis and meiosis. As already told, in mitosis, the parent cell divides into two daughter cells, while meiosis causes the daughter cells to be genetically different from that of the parent cell. The next important function of the cell is that it allows transport of substances. Various nutrients are imported by the cells to carry out various chemical processes that takes place in the cells. The waste products which are produced as the end products is eliminated from the cells by either active or passive transport. And the last function is that it aids in energy production. Cells require energy to carry out various chemical processes. This energy is produced by the cells through a process of respiration in animals, and in plants it is obtained through the process of both photosynthesis and respiration. So by this we come to the end of introduction about the cells. Thank you, students.